Hi, welcome to the series on job hunt essentials. I'm Leonard Melvix, and in this series, we will be talking about some of the strategies that I found useful with respect to effective job hunting and how you can work towards making your profile stand out amidst thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of candidates applying in the job market. And also, hunting for a job is not just about one quick switch, but it's also a long career that you're putting uh, at stake. So it's also important to think about from a longer term career perspective how you want to plan your job hunting in order to build an effective career out of it. So who is this series for? Based on So in this series, I'll be sharing my experience as I went through the process as a college student, as an undergrad, as a master student, and now flowing into a mid-career professional. So this will be mostly from my experience so far. So I believe this would be mostly catered towards college students who are working towards their first corporate job, or mid-career professionals who are looking for their first or second switch with a few years of industry experience under their belt. So let's go on to the first episode of the series, the mindset. So before we go into that, I just want to give a quick intro about myself. I am a computer vision engineer and currently working as a machine learning tech lead at Google. And before this, I worked as an early engineer in a startup called DeepMap that was recently acquired by NVIDIA. And also during my master's program, I did my internship at Facebook, which is now called Meta. And before doing my master's, I worked at Broadcom India as a software systems engineer. So all in all, I have about 7 to 8 years of work experience right now, spanning across software systems, computer networks, and artificial intelligence. Sounds like an impressive profile, isn't it? But it was not always just the beds and roses. It was a pretty hard career path that it had, in my opinion. So my first job at Broadcom, I got laid off within the first 3 months, due to some restructuring, due to some strategic shift that the company took at that point in time. And not only that, I have been in the job market at several points in time, right out of school at bachelor's, master's, and when I was searching. So during this process, I'm pretty sure I applied to at least 1,000 jobs, and there were thousands of rejections at the resume level, and also hundreds of interview rejections all in all together, if you put together all my interview experiences through my career. And besides that, I also switched my domains multiple times over this period. I started as an electronics engineer, started my job as a wireless test engineer. Then I moved on to networking systems, and then I found my interest more towards computer vision, where I worked at DeepMap in more traditional computer vision techniques. And now I have moved further in this direction, working on deep learning and machine learning technologies. So all in all, it was not a very straight path, and that's what I also want to highlight here. Everyone's career journey might be different. Some may have figured it out right out of the bat, when they started the undergrad, they know this is what I want to do, and they're just gonna keep going straight at it. And for some people, it's a process. They're gonna keep trying to figure out things where they fit better, where they have better skills, and where they like it better. And that's okay. And I believe your journey might be a little different in its own terms, and that's okay. And I think it's important to embrace that, and everyone in the market also understands that. And the next thing is job hunting is also a very emotional thing. So when someone rejects you, and sometimes some interviews unfortunately are quite rude sometimes, and those really help make you question what you have spent your entire career so far learning. And when someone questions it and you're not able to answer it, it puts a big dent, and it makes you feel a little bad. But over the course of time, I've also learned to acknowledge that it's okay to be rejected sometimes. Sometimes that's just not your day. And as long as you're able to brush past it, understand where you went wrong, and like make sure you're not making the same mistake over and over again. A rejection is not something to be taken personally. It's just a growth thing, and you can like learn on that and keep moving on for the next big opportunity that's waiting for you. So that's a quick intro about me, and based on that, I just want to like start this presentation with this one important quote. The job search is a job by itself, and that's a pretty heavy statement in my opinion, because it's gonna take a lot of time, it's gonna take your energy, resource, and some amount of emotional investment as well as you're entering this journey. So it's important to acknowledge job hunting and treat it as a job by itself, so that you plan it accordingly as you go through this journey. So and in this series, the reason why I wanted to like start off with mindset as the first episode is because I believe a positive mindset is kind of the most critical thing with respect to a successful job hunt. Yes, there are so many other things like a good resume, like good coding skills and so on, but I believe like beyond all that, like having a positive attitude, a good mindset is going to help you like embark on this journey and be very successful in your job hunt. Having said that, I believe the most important thing is to like stay dedicated. So there is some reason for which you chose to like go through a job hunt. It may be beyond your choice. Maybe like say you got laid off, or like you graduated out of school and now you're entering the job market. And sometimes you're also looking for a reason for like to grow further in your career, or you're looking for a better work-life balance, or you believe that you believe you should be compensated higher for the kind of skills and the contributions you make. So whatever be your reason, I think making a career switch is an important step in your life, because you're gonna spend a lot of time in it. So think long and hard whether a career switch, a job switch is really important, whether you need to be getting into the job market. And once you have really clarified and you're very solid on your reasoning, stop questioning that reasoning anymore. Like stay dedicated to that reason and fully commit yourself to the job hunt. And that's the most important thing. Once you enter into this journey, like it's important to like fully commit into it and like go head on into your job hunt, and instead of like having a back and forth mindset. So think long and hard, and then once you're sure that you have a solid reason on why to switch, commit to it and like get into the job hunt. And the next thing is staying tough. It's as I mentioned earlier, like this is a long journey. You may go through several rounds of interview, and like towards the end you might just get rejected out of for no reason. You may not know why it's even going wrong. But not all the times like the rejection is something to do with you. And even if it has something to do with because you didn't perform well at an interview, don't take it to heart. I know it's easier said, but it's important to like take things professionally and move on. Like, so the first thing is like don't take it to heart, and remember, like if you don't know something at that point in interview, it's okay, because no one's gonna know everything in the life, or even in a particular domain. Even if you take something, no one's gonna know everything, and that's okay, and we all need to acknowledge that. But also, like some folks tend to feel over cautious of the step. They tend to like wait way long to read more and more to know enough, and that enough never reach the enough point to even start their job hunting. So be okay to be rejected, and once you face that head on, it makes the job hunting much more easier. But having said that, that does not mean like you just have to keep going on after one rejection after another. It's important to analyze what may have gone wrong if you get rejected in a job interview. So sometimes, in fact, most of the times, companies would not reveal why you got rejected, because there's so many reasons, both from the policy perspective, that they shouldn't be talking about it. But I think as someone who gave an interview, you may have some amount of idea on where things may have gone wrong. And it's important to learn from that mistake and make sure that you are not repeating the same mistake over and again. you know what, like you may have fixed one mistake and then something else pops up in the next time, but that's okay, because eventually someday you are going to like iron out all those mistakes and you're going to have a well prepared interview performance someday, and that's all that matters. So analyzing carefully and like working towards a better performance the next time is the most important thing. So stay tough. And the next thing is to be very strategic. As I mentioned, this is a long journey. You're going to be spending a lot of your time. You're going to be using a lot of your network resources and your job leads that you have to in going through this journey. And there's going to be a lot of tasks that you're going to be doing. Like you have to prepare for interviews. You have to give interviews. You also like have to work towards more and more interviews and planning this. Now, if you're going to wait for learning completely and then starting, or like let me finish off all these interviews and then start the next batch, then it's going to keep prolonging your process, and sometimes it may not be always the optimal way to like find the best job that you're suited for. So it's more ideal to like plan these things strategically, such that you can go through them concurrently in a way such that you are also like interviewing, learning, and improving your chances of getting a better job. So doing these things more concurrently with better time management and network management is the key, and I'll be talking more about this in later on as well. So the next thing is like sometimes it's important to take every opportunity that's there coming along your way. Not all interviews are going to be your dream jobs, and that does not mean that like you shouldn't give interviews that are not your dream jobs, because some interviews are just good opportunity test beds. You can give the interview, and that probably helps you like iron out things that may have not been your best strong suits, and just knowing that okay, you know what, this did not work out, and these are things that tend to be my weaknesses that come up in interviews, so you can work on them, and like there's not much to lose because that's not your dream job, right? And sometimes you never know, like you may think of this as not a great job, but as you interview with the team, you'll start realizing that it's actually a pretty good team. You have very good opportunities here to grow, and like it fits much better than the original dream job that you have in mind. So giving every opportunity its due chance is also very important. And sometimes like also there is the negotiating aspect when it comes to salaries. So having multiple offers is also going to be helpful to make sure that your compensation is also adequately meeting the market demands. So take advantage of every opportunity. So just as excuse me. Just to summarize everything that we discussed here, the first thing is to stay dedicated. You're going to be investing your time and energy, so make sure you have your reasoning for the job hunt straightened out and commit fully to that. Be dedicated to your reasoning. And the next thing is to stay tough and be positive, because you're going to be going through some amount of rejections over this phase, and it's important to not take them personally and accept that as a part of the process. And finally, this is going to need a lot of planning of your time and your resources. So be more strategic, play to your strength, and see what you want, and try to like use all your resources to your advantage. And with that, I'd like to conclude this episode. Thank you so much for your time. And in the next episode, we'll dive more into how to efficiently manage the most important resource that you have at your hand, the time. So we'll talk about time management in the next episode. Thank you.